if I were to cut a square this wide, I'm pretty sure that would still be plated on any other platform.
Yeah, I've actually...
That official of a replica here. And running. True 3D audio, 7.1 channels, so you hear stuff just... And the shirts to one lucky fan. 4x2 board that I ripped down the middle. We're gonna cut 4 1-foot lengths off of this. Our parachute has... Just hit this bomb to get in the club. Don't forget, we're doing a mini version. I think the box is okay. The parachute is not so okay. The high edges, and so the mechanism, if you try and lift it off, it should come off fairly easily. Lid holds itself. The crate we're nail those in place. Oh, I think it's even windier than last time. Hits and other accessories. Well, today we'll give a little bit of give if the parachute catches really suddenly. Now we're gonna see what happens. So I've made 16 of those. Quite a bit too.
Yeah, you can.
That is looking like a crate. Now we need to do some painting to get it to match. That's good. This game's got some pretty realistic all around. We're playing on one map now. How many? And I just hope it looks cool. There's a slight chance the box is just gonna hit the ground and the parachute won't open. We had to use in a previous video of how to make the parachute for the sky ball. We're gonna taper them so that they give the sort of in and out drop it. Obviously a real supply drop parachute is gonna, as we hope it will, we're gonna send the crate.
Random fact, by the 5th,
and then extend sort of up in between these cords all the way. We're gonna try building a miniature supply crate. How many maps are there?
There's 3 maps.
With our crate all loaded up with goodies, we can now... Drop is built, and that thing is looking great. That looks just like what I was hoping for. We've got PUBG for a while. Parachute doesn't work, then if we pick this thing up and drop it, hopefully the parachute will open and it will glide gently to the... Or after we dropped it. But we are just gonna go for bare tarp. Currently playing PUBG Mobile. The game is completely B pattern along each side, and so what we're gonna do is take 5 strips of our supply crate into... We have a bunch of PUBG t-shirts, and these are gonna go in the supply crate. And one semi-successful drop that did not completely destroy it, some straps around it. We've got ourselves some webbing here, and we need 2 bands going outside, trying to make it look more like the one in the game. But it stayed intact.
Put it on Xbox.
It's made of metal, and while ours is made of wood, we are going to try and match the look a little bit. They have sort of a bump. And assuming that everything works, assuming this thing survives,
Prefer the mobile version a little bit better. I'm much better at the control.
Game, these are sort of a faded. That'd be exciting too. The 4 core, small little squad of up to 4 people. So you just go around, you grab weapons, vehicles, arm. Well, I'd say it's parachuting pretty good. We'll just have to 3.8 kilos. So we are going to need a bit more side pieces on as well. But here's what those are going to look like, giving us that corrugated effect. Well, that had some...
Like, I played this with people who have never played this style of game.
Outlook that we have in the game. Take too much. However, every picture I've seen of the crate does make a parachute. Here is my thought. That's gonna hold this on will be a little bit different. We're just gonna have 4. PUBG Mobile, if you're not familiar with,
And they're really big and they have a lot of detail.
we'll have a very tiny hole, and we're just gonna fit our paracord with a loop through the teammates, but it's just out of some scrap pieces, and we're just gonna glue, and then glue 2 strips together to get that thickness, and then we're gonna bevel one side so we can get to go through the wood into the table, I promise. So I'm gonna take 2 of these pieces, tape them to get really snug down into there, so the lid will hold, hanging a box from it and dropping it to leave enough extra space.
28 tons of supplies had been dropped on the beach.
We've got 5 sides of our box, and it is feeling pretty the one in the game, in my opinion. I'm gonna say means I built it well. Very cool. So one very successful drop and one. Let's do a quick test, which will involve me holding these strings. You suggested when I started playing without destroying the box. This isn't a crate that you actually are going to need a pry bar to take apart, and those are going to be a little bit thicker. We're going to do those 2 layers thick. Extra trim on the on, but not so tightly that you can't just lift it off. Now, a good way to do it: have the crate hanging below the parachute, lift it up through our parachute, and then out the top when it explodes. And those include warm balls. So we're going to be using the same materials that dollar style game, which means it's you versus everyone else out there. You can play with tact and everything. So I'm calling that a win. And we are now doing a giveaway. We have filled this thing
before and they picked it up really quick.
You can customize the controller. Thinner wood that all fit along the side, and now we're gonna right?
Yeah. It's my favorite game, actually.
And you to ring that bell, and we will see you in the next one. Talk to you then. Supplies, and you just try and beat everyone else out there. It's last man. So just hold this all together, and these nails. Today's video is sponsored by PUBG Mobile. In the game, one more addition we do need to make is that there are these little corner pieces of Normandy. GoPro attached. Parachute not 100% destroyed. Woo! I'm pretty sure that even this piece, if I were cut to thin strips, it works when we're actually, and if you aren't a subscriber, just with our corner pieces attached, we can now go back. Being dropped off a drone. They're free to play. The download link is in the description. Parachute's struggling a little bit from any of the dangerous parts of the drone. It won't get in the blades or anything like that. It just seems like that might be a wooden box. They also have what appears to be a blue tarp over them, as well as is about 7.5 pounds. 3-point nails, high-end, top-of-the-line graphics with Unreal Engine. Force coming down, but with some loot, stuffing it full of loot, and then dropping it from a couple hundred feet out of a drone. To start out, we've got these boards about 1/4 of an inch thick, and now we need to attach the swivel hook onto the box. We're going to do that using some elastic, and hopefully that board's attaching to our parachute. Now we need the sides. That, so it's going to be a big old parachute. We're going to use the same design and materials that Grant showed you. The parachute will be connected to this swivel hook in. Although, of course, pretty simple to get used. Some black straps wrapping around the whole thing. So this board here is about the size of our lid, and we just need building. I'm going to shoot for approximately 1,400 pieces that go over. We're using wood glue and some finishing shooting plates. That our PUBG supply crate, our air together lengthwise suffered. I'm going to call that critical failure. Times bigger than that. So put our tarp over it and wrap some box. I think the box survived all right. Throw t-shirts in. One more thing I'm going to do. I am going to sign this bad boy. Put some right now, but I mean, controlled scene. That I use some nice headphones because it's got like good audio built into it. In PUBG, the supply crates are full of all sorts of goodies, ammo, med. Now the supply crates in PUBG are not smooth walled, and I think they're actually. I'm going for it. Sniper training and quick matches. Guys, join over 100 million players. One. Hit open! It is time. And that looks like a mini version of the crate. Now it needs a parachute, and we're
day after D-Day, 104,000.
And then make a square out of different modes available, including some faster paced arcade modes or last squad standing. So you played, you should go check that out. The other box will show you what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. Time and effort into it. Great to see that box up at the top will transport you directly to our last video. Move them to match up at the success each direction, so 4 bands total.
You can move around all the sights and your
on the sides, although first we're going to use a little bit of wood putty and then some primer. And that's what we're going to use to attach it to our drone. Hopefully by doing that without spacing out the side bars. Smaller, can't fit. Sturdy, now we need to add a lid. However, I want to be able to remove this lid with because they stick out farther than these cords. 1 foot cubed. In fact, it'll end up being a little bit bigger than that because the main box will be 1 foot and then something where there's no finishing or seams or grommets on it. Ground, if that below. We'll have little bits of two.
Yeah, I think it's really intuitive. You can pick it up really fast.
We are going to have a red crate-shaped missile headed toward the ground that we can get the hanging over folded look that we're going for. That shouldn't actually, this string is not really attached to much anymore. I'm not sure if that happened before. Pull itself on, we're gonna have an additional strand of paracord attached to this hook. Our crate is really starting to take on the look for little pieces of wood on the sides that will just fit. GoPro attached. Woo! So we're gonna cut off some more oh, it's coming down hard! Ah! And stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, so it's actually a way better experience having head
Controlling everything.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. You can tell phones while playing this game because you can hear where people are around you.
The sound is brought to you with... These aren't currently attached yet because we want to wait for the spacing until we have some corners nicely. We want to cut out some 1 foot squares. This table's not big enough. We're away! And we're going to be sending it to one lucky winner. Check. All right, hitting the switch. 3, 2, oh! It's still coming in pretty quick, but it opened. Mode mini zones. They'll keep the parachute away. Hey! Have its own bag and it's going to pop open. But we're not making time to turn this supply crate found into for details. Guys, thanks for watching, but that's not all. We've got more for the supply crates are not just too small of a parachute. I want bigger than that. In fact, I want 4. See if this parachute, and we're going to use that as sort of the corner supports to hold our cube together. The link in the description to our tablecloth plastic, although it's going to be quite a bit bigger because this thing with I've got a bunch of squares cut, and I also have this 1x2.
And we died.
Oh. Attach those to all 4 corners of our crate. To a crate full of supplies. So what we've gone and done is we are not long enough.
Shoot button or pickup button or
just kind of right where you want your thumbs
exactly
to be.
where you want it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. We did good.
We've got our crate, we've got our giant drone, and the game has a variety of different. It's a battle royale red color, so we've got faded red paint. It looks like there's no finished edge on the tarp, or at least not much. There's no grommets or anything like that. So we see how well or strength on our paint. Woo! We've got the corrugation in the middle. We've got top and bottom rims on everything. I'm liking it. Every one of these.
Totally tell that there's a lot of detail in the graphics and the rendering that's going on mobile than I am on Xbox.
I'm playing as a very, very new player.
I'm poopy. 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 I am poopy. I'm 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 poopy.